Well, as I promised, I'm doing a Triwatt, a features demo of the Triwatt today. I'm doing a medley of parts from 3 songs from One Soul Thrust's most recent album, Slaves to the Sky, Masters to the Mess. And they're to sort of feature the clean, low gain, mid gain, crunch, and high gain tones of the Triwatt. This Triwatt, I just love it the way it sits. It's fantastic as a pedal platform, and it's fantastic for the mid-gain crunch that it gets. I did not use the overdrive section. I still need to tweak that, so I apologize for that. You won't hear the overdrive from the Triwatt kicked in, but I will do something with that when I do sort it out. I'm going to play around with that a bit. So for today, what I have is a medley, basically intro and solo section from 3 songs from Slaves to the Sky, Masters to the Mess. The first part is from a song called The Fight for Love. It's basically the intro and the solo section. Then that moves into a funk rock tune from the album called Yes. Again, part of the intro and the solo section. And then it finishes off with intro, chorus, solo section, and outro from a song called Full Circle. And those go from The Fight for Love has the clean tones, and then the low gain sort of rhythm tones, and a mid-gain solo tone. Yes is low and mid-gain sounds, and then Full Circle is as high gain as I get. It's not, I wouldn't characterize it as a metal tone or a metal tune even. It's more of a classic hard rock kind of a tune. Thanks for waiting for this. I know it's been a while coming. Here's the basic discussion of the tones and guitars that I used for the 3 sections of this demo of the Triwatt features. All right, for the first part of this demo, it's based on the chord riff and solo section of a song from Slaves to the Sky, Masters to the Mess. The song is called The Fight for Love. On the studio recording of this, the guitar is not this clean. It's sort of a low mid-gain crunch. But I've always thought of this song as a clean song, and I wanted to see how it would sound with clean guitars, and I of course wanted to demonstrate the clean sounds of the Triwatt. So for this first part, the clean guitars, I used obviously 2 guitars. This white road-worn Strat is signed by Glenn Hughes from Deep Purple. We did a track with him on our first album called Go Home and Melt. He sang a duet with Salem. That was a bucket list moment for me. Always wanted to work with Glenn. At any rate, that's another story. For the what I call the chord riff, you know, it starts off with a I thought I wanted to do that on a couple of guitars and get some contrasting tones. So I started, the sort of main guitar in that is Glenn. That's what I call this guitar, and he's on the position between the middle and the neck pickup. This is going through my pedal board, my HX effects, then the Triwatt obviously, and through my Captor X8 ohm. So no speaker cabinet. You're hearing the IR that I've dialed into the Cab M, or into the Captor X, and then going straight to Logic. When I tracked it with some of the reverb on the Captor X. I just really liked the sound of the reverb. Other than that, the only other effect I had on was I had the Rochester compressor from the HX Effects with some pretty heavy heavy compression. One of the things that was sort of a compromise, both when I recorded this for the album and just now, is those harmonics. You know, the I wanted the tone from the neck pickup for that on the album, especially. You know, I liked that tone. It was really deep and girthy, but the pickup is right over the note for the harmonics, so it doesn't come out that much. So my compromise ended up being using the middle and neck on this guitar. On the album, I played it on my Sunburst Telecaster, so I had it in the middle position. So that brought out those harmonics a little bit, but not quite as much as I needed, especially with it clean for this. So I used the Rochester compressor to bring out those harmonics, make them pop a bit more. So for Glenn's part, I had all the controls up full on the guitar, and I was using, like I said, the middle and the neck pickup. When I used the other guitar, I call that one the Dolphin. My brother built me that guitar about 20 odd years ago, and I really love that guitar. I'll probably detail it in a video at some time. I don't play it that much, and I don't know why, but it sure looks pretty. So I wanted to contrast. I wanted to double track that chord riff, but I wanted to contrast it with a different guitar and different pickup selections. So when I did it on the Dolphin, I used the bridge and middle pickup. Everything else was set the same. So then for the goose egg guitar parts, you know, the goose egg guitar parts, they come in after the first round of the chord riff and continues through the solo. Again, I used Glenn on one side. I used the middle and bridge pickup. I thought that sounded kind of nice. So for the goose egg parts, it's Glenn, bridge and middle, and it's the Dolphin on the neck pickup. So that's the clean guitars in this. For the mid-gain crunch rhythms for this section, again, I wanted to use a pedal platform setup. So I used two of my guitars. My main Sunburst Telecaster, one I built myself about 10 or 11 years ago. That one is not, I've said it before, it's not my favorite one to play in terms of feel, but it's got a kind of a tone that really works, and Salem and Todd and Alessandro all insist that I use that guitar, and I have no complaints. It's a great sounding guitar, and it's not too difficult to play. So I used that, and that was the lower gain of the two rhythm tracks. I didn't do, again, much with effects. I ran it through my Golden Horse clone. It was a kit I bought for like 35 bucks, and it just has a sound I really like. So I used that. The Sunburst Telecaster is called the Kid. So I used the Kid into that for this track. No compressor, nothing else. I did use Crypt Reverb from the Captor X, just to give it a little bit of roominess. So that was the Kid's part. And then this guitar, which I call the Beast, this is another one I built, pine body, and just an awesome neck on this guitar. The pine body makes this really light and gives it a less edgy kind of tone. I got a rail humbucker in it, a Seymour Duncan Hot Rails. And I honestly don't recall what the single coils are. So this one I used on the bridge as well. The Kid was on the bridge, and that's a single coil Carrie Nordstrand pickup. This one is the Hot Rails, the Duncan Hot Rails, and I used that. But I changed the overdrive from the Golden Horse to my Strymon Riverside. Again, set pretty low gainish. Well, you can hear it. And you can hear that that's a darker guitar. I also set that tone a little bit darker. The brightness comes from the Telecaster. So that was the rhythm tracks for it. For the solo section of this first part of the demo, again, I wanted to stick with the pedal platform concept. So throughout this whole first segment, nothing has changed on the amp. It's still the same clean sound I started with. I've only changed some of my pedal choices and whatnot. For this solo section, I was liking the sound of the Beast quite a bit. I sort of, on one of the takes, started noodling the solo. I had not intended to use this guitar for the solo of it. Normally I do that on the Kid and use the neck pickup, but the bridge pickup and the sound I had set up, I was kind of liking, so I stuck with that. So the only thing that I really changed about that was, as I said, I used the bridge pickup, played it on the Beast. I left the Strymon Riverside on, and also in loop 1 of my HX effects, I have a Keeley fuzz head. When I kicked the fuzz head in, I brought that in on that loop. The whole thing just jumped out, and I really liked it. I basically got the solo on my first take through. I did a couple others just in case I needed some fixture spots. Don't know if I do or not. Haven't listened to it yet, but you'll know because you've seen it at the top of this video. So for the clean slash pedal power or pedal platform segment of the video, that first segment, that's it. A few guitar tracks, a solo track, and we're off to the races. For this second section of the Triwatt demo is what I'm calling the mid-gain tones. As far as guitars, I used, what did I use? I used the Kid, I used Glenn, I used the Beast, and you haven't seen this one yet. This is Amy. This is 1982 Squier, JV Squier. So when Fender originally shut down their plant in California in 81, 82, they moved production to Japan, and that's when they started the Squiers. They didn't want to call those Fenders, but they were still wanting to make guitars while they were building their new plant in Corona. So the JV Strats are the Japanese Squiers, and they're as good or maybe even better than the Strats they were building, certainly at that time. I think, in my own opinion, they kind of rival the 60s Strats, you know, just before things went for a real downturn. At any rate, this is an 82 JV Strat. Was heavily modified when I got it. It had a Floyd Rose in it, obviously a humbucker, which I would have put in this guitar anyway. And yeah, other than that, it was pretty straight ahead. Oh yeah, it had Yngwie Malmsteen stacked DiMarzios in here too. So I've put in Seymour Duncan Antiquities in the neck and the middle. And this is Duncan Custom in the bridge. I've got it with a single coil parallel tap as well as just the standard humbucker sound. So that was Amy, and for some reason she just sounded good for the solo, so I used her for a couple of rhythm parts, and I also used her for the solo. I really like that that sort of really bitey neck pickup kind of tone you can get. So I had, well, first of all, the basic amp tone was what I would consider pretty low gain, actually. So not a whole lot of crunch. And then for the solo on this song, I kicked in the Golden Horse for the... I just really like that bitey sound. And then right at the end, I kicked in the Riverside just to give a little bit of sustain on that last... I might have Might have a clam on that one. You'll already know by now, but I haven't listened to this yet. I just finished recording it. That little rundown. My fat fingers don't like playing up that high. So hopefully I got something that's worth keeping on there. But you're going to hear it clams and all anyway. So that was the mid gain section. Actually, pretty easy. Few tracks of guitar. I had the Beast and the Kid doing the intro kind of riff, and then I had Glenn and Amy doing the chunk rhythms through the main part, the solo section. I also used Amy to do the high up part that comes in toward the middle of the solo section, and of course Amy played the solo. By the way, this song was based on another one of the tunes from Slaves to the Sky, Masters to the Mess, the most recent One Soul Thrust album. That song is called Yes, sort of a funk rock tune. Another one where I kind of would have thrown away, the riff, I just was playing with that one day, and Salem said, we gotta do something with that. I can't remember. It might have happened in a rehearsal. At any rate, I would not have kept that, and Salem said, no, let's record that. So I laid down basically that riff, and she turned it into Yes. My version of high gain, as I've said before, I don't get particularly metal. I'm a lot more old school, straight ahead rock, and so this is about as gainy as I really get. I based this on the intro, chorus, and solo section and outro of a song called Full Circle, again from Slaves to the Sky, Masters to the Mess. The song starts off, well, first of all, the tones I used, I still stuck with the Triwatt actually at a pretty low to mid gain range. I love this amp just the way it is, like this, as sort of a mid gain pedal platform, clean to mid gain. So anyway, I did set this up with a little bit of sort of low to mid gain crunch. Here's the sound of the high watt without anything else turned on. I think there's a little reverb in the Captor X again, but basically, so a little bit past the range of breakup. And then what I used was to get to punch it up just a little bit. I used the Golden Horse again, not to punch it up too far. I also used the Strymon Riverside, both with the favorites setting that I have in there, plus what's up on the dials. So here are those, and they're a little more crunchy, a little more high gainish. So here's a sort of the brighter of the higher gain tones that I dialed in with the Riverside. And then the favorite is kind of complementary to that. So those two sounds are kind of used left and right. That's a little more throaty. Also what I did for the riff, that's a little bit more of a high gain or solo kind of tone. And what I did was I kicked the Golden Horse in front of the Riverside, that favorite tone, to get it to sort of saturate a little bit more. So those were kind of the basic tones. On the album, Salem plays the first part of that intro along with Todd, with Todd's doing the hi-hat ride, and Salem comes in on that with that E ride, and it's a lot more high gain on the album than I used. I was playing around with this, and I kind of ended up really kind of liking the sound of the neck of the Telecaster, almost clean for that. and I double tracked it. So I went straight in with the basic mid gain tone for that. Played it very light, so it was almost clean. And then I double tracked that with the Riverside on. So the cleaner tone paired with that little bit more crunchy tone, I just really liked the sound of that. When Salem did it on the album, it was a much more high gain, and she was playing not only the low E. This is tuned to E flat, by the way. She was also playing the octave of it. So on the album, it's more like. I just felt like making a change for that. So those are the basic tones that we used. So again, we'll go through it. There was sort of the lowest gain sound was kind of this. I didn't really use that tone with the Telecaster. I used, oh yeah, I brought in Butch on this. Butch. This is Butch, and this is my #1 absolute favorite guitar. I would crawl a mile over broken glass to rescue him from a fire. As you can see, I kind of have done that a few times. So Butch was originally a Fender Lead 2. I've owned him since he was brand new in 1979, actually. And every mark on this guitar is my fault. The only thing original on here is the body. Neck is completely replaced. I'll detail this guitar at another time, but I really like Butch, and I cannot recall if this is late 70s DiMarzio Path, or if it's a DiMarzio Super Distortion. I think it's a Super Distortion because it's pretty chunky. So anyway, this is a better representation of the high watt without any pedals and the crunch I went for. So still not super high gainy. And then when you kick the pedals in, if I kick the Golden Horse in, it goes, you know, I'll kick it in right. So still more of a kind of classic rock kind of crunch. Here's with the Riverside. And then if I kick in the Golden Horse on that, you'll hear me kick it in here. So that's kind of where I got the gain from. The only other thing I did different was on the solo, I used the Beast again, and I also had my Wampler Tumnus. So I had the Tumnus, I had the Riverside going, and the Tumnus just to kind of kick it over the top, you know. So that was the solo tone. And again, like I said, I ended up not using the built-in overdrive on the Triwatt. That capacitor I put in to bleed some of the high end off is taking way too much off. So, and that's my fault, and that's probably what's the biggest issue. I do realize I went really down a rabbit hole trying to stop it from self-oscillating. Probably going to go back, take that capacitor off of the plate load resistor, and I'll play around again with the cathode resistor on there. You know, I can get kind of a little caught in the weeds, and I think I did with that part. So there you have it, mostly by memory, what I used and did with this this little medley. I really appreciate you guys watching. Like always, like and subscribe. If you found this entertaining, informative, smash the like button down there. Feel free to make comments, ask questions. I do read questions. Check out my band as always, One Soul Thrust. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.